Greetings, fellow Godless Rockers. I'm Steve.
And I'm Tally from
Monster on Sunday.
In this week's BAM vlog, we'll talk about the God-infused hot topic of abortion. So stay tuned for episode 31 of Godless Rockers. Listen, this is a heavy and complex topic, so today we'll focus on what we see as the biggest problem of abortion, which is what religion is doing on the anti-abortion front. Plus, we'll talk about the basic and rational understanding of what abortion actually is.
Let's go. Many religions are spreading anti-abortion propaganda, and by propaganda, we mean lies. There are a host of scare tactics used by churches, such as photos or videos of late-term abortions, even staged graphic footage or faked pictures depicting standard legal abortion as a horrific crime done to a baby-like fetus. A good example is how abortion is portrayed as a disturbing and bloody scene in the religious Halloween haunted house known as Hell House.
Unfortunately, these shocking images can stick with a person, especially a young person who may not be scientifically literate. These images are presented as what all abortions are like, which is very misleading. But their interpretation is typically a biased, uninformed, and false representation of standard procedures.
Obviously, the churches are lying about this. They're taking all abortions and saying, this is what it is. You're killing this fully formed baby every single time that there's an abortion, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And this is the line that they want you to believe because they are so into you're killing a human life. They need it to look like a human life. They can't have the gray areas of the first-term abortions where it doesn't even look like a human being whatsoever being spread out. They need it to look like a human baby that's being cut into pieces, blood everywhere. Mm-hmm. Despicable.
Yeah, and it goes further than that, especially like the Hell House. The Hell House, I think, is, yeah, it has those elements, but it's also focused on the scare tactics to the woman who's thinking about maybe getting an abortion, because it shows her on this table screaming in pain, writhing in pain, like just basically in hell. It's Hell House. As he's like shoving stuff up there and dragging stuff out, and baby's guts are flying, and she's like, ah! I mean, it's crazy.
This
is
like
not
the
what happens.
Coldest, most evil doctors of all time.
Yeah, they're like, "Mwah!" And they look so scary, like they're
obviously none of these people, apparently none of these people have ever gone to a real doctor ever, because they don't know how any doctors act whatsoever. It's just ridiculous. And then of course there's this, in all of them there's this weird demon thing with a big beak nose running around dancing, carrying the baby.
Yeah, Satan's thrilled with what's going on around him type of
like,
ideas. Of course it's dramatized for the purposes of this haunted house, but at the same time, they are taking these real things that do occur, an abortion, and they're making it appear to be something like so frightening that you could scare a woman away from it for her own safety. Yeah. She could just be tortured.
And the question is, why are they doing that? Why can't they just tell the facts as they are?
Well,
they know that the facts as they are aren't as scary as they would like them to be. Mm-hmm. They would like it to be this devil and terrifying doctors and extremely painful, torturous procedure that you would never want to go to. When the fact of the matter is, if they really had the truth on their side, they wouldn't need to go to these great lengths.
Yep, that's true. Okay, moving on.
In most states, the law permits abortion from 6 to 22 weeks. The reason for the state being a cutoff is because it allows for what's called late-term abortion due to the ability to have the ultrasound to see what's wrong with the fetus.
Most abortions can only be had at these late dates due to medical reasons, either for the fetus or for the mother. Religion would have you believe that all abortions are like these late-term abortions and are only done because the mother doesn't want to have a child. For those who believe in God, they should know that God would be the primary aborter, as miscarriages are a super common occurrence.
The visions of bloody massacre and or of a fetus scared and running away from the scraping device, as you may have read about online, are bullshit. A standard abortion in the first term is a medical procedure where the contents of the uterus are sucked out. The early embryo or fetus does not feel pain or experience anything since it does not have a fully developed brain or nervous system at this point.
I'd like to mention that each woman must decide for herself where to draw the line.
So in most religions, rather than allowing the woman to draw her own line, the churches draw the line for her. For example, with the Catholics, they're really into abstinence only. There's plenty of Christians that teach abstinence only, and abstinence only does include not using condoms and all that kind of thing. The only way that you're supposed to use birth control according to these religious groups is by not having sex, which is completely unrealistic. And everywhere that this type of birth control is taught, it doesn't work in a really bad way. There's more abortions, there's more STDs, or I guess you're not supposed to call them STDs anymore. There's more babies born out of wedlock. So yeah, the Catholic Church is big on this, but there's plenty of other religious groups, and of course, Christian groups and non-Christians like Muslims that are very into abstinence only as well.
You can preach what you want all day long. Not many people are going to be able to never have sex except for only with their spouse and only when they want to have a baby. What would that be? You'd have sex very rarely.
No, you should always want to have a baby. That's another part of it.
So once you're married, you're just supposed to have as much sex as possible and as much babies as possible?
Exactly, yes. You're supposed to become this baby factory. That's the whole quiverful movement. See, there's so many religious groups that are crazy on this subject, and it doesn't make any sense. It's not good for anyone. Not good for the family or the children or the world. Just keep popping out these babies left and right. It's based off of doctrines that were invented before contraception.
It's certainly,
Go figure.
Exactly. Good point. But thanks to science, we understand that sex is a biological need for human beings, extending beyond this idea of baby making. The bottom line is that each of us women have a need to decide for ourselves what we feel is the right thing to do based on our individual situation. This is a complex subject, and each situation can be unique, but unfortunately, religion likes to dictate to women what they should or shouldn't do with their own body.
That's right. The health and well-being of women and children suffer the most in states and countries that have the most stringent laws that restrict access to safe and legal abortion. The World Health Organization has said this quote, "The underlying causes of morbidity and mortality from unsafe abortion today are not blood loss and infection, but rather apathy and disdain toward women. Women suffer and die because they are not valued. We have to recognize that there is a woman, a person, who can suffer, and ultimately a child that can suffer if the mother is forced to proceed with an unwanted pregnancy."
Access to legal abortions makes women's lives safer and healthier. If you're against abortions, then please be pro-sex education, as sex education significantly reduces abortions. Don't allow your religious beliefs to force a woman who may not share your beliefs to host an unwanted pregnancy. Instead, allow her the free will that you think your God has given to her by not legislating against abortion.
Please let us know if you agree with our take on the subject in the comments below.
Tune in next week where we discuss Mormons on the Inside with David Fitzgerald.
Check out last week's vlog, God Hates Children, by clicking here.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please support us at patreon.com/Monster on Sunday.
Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. See you next Sunday at noon.
We're
Monster on Sunday.
Thanks for joining us on
Godless Rockers.